Broadcasting from the Allen B. Levan NSU Broward Center of Innovation at Nova Southeastern University. Welcome to Sunshine Startups Live, featuring rockstar entrepreneurs, bright ideas, and experts on the startup ecosystem. And now your hosts of Sunshine Startups Live, Jim Ryan and John Wensveen.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Sunshine Startups Live. I'm investor, entrepreneur, Jim Ryan, startup enthusiast. Terrific episode broadcasting once again from the Innovation Center here at Nova Southeastern University. Really excited to have two guests today. A startup incubating here in the state of Florida. It has great traction. Jeff Evans and Wendy Shafranski from Cerus Performance. Welcome both of you to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Jeff, interesting company, and reading up on you and seeing great traction on the business. Tell me, before we get into the business, I want to hear a little bit about you and a little bit about your background. So tell me about Jeff.
Definitely. So first and foremost, husband, father. I'm a former CrossFit Games athlete. That's what kind of led me into the supplement space. I'm currently a medical device rep. That's my full-time career. And I started Cerus in 2020.
Terrific. And we're going to get to the business in a moment. Wendy, How about you? Tell me about your background.
All right. Way back in 97, I graduated from UF with an advertising degree. So I was in that world for about 15 years. And then 15 years ago, started a fitness facility. So helped people with their nutrition, training, that sort of thing. And then that led me to Jeff, and that led me to Cerus Performance.
Great. And so where did you come up with the idea? So you're the initial founder, you're the initial brain trust. So tell us about what led you to the idea of the business.
Yeah. So 2020 during COVID lockdowns, I was working from home back when I was in pharma sales. One of my old buddies, he reached out, we reconnected, talked about a bunch of different things. And he was actually a part of the team that I was sponsored by, a supplement company. And he wanted to get back into the supplement space, but the products that he was talking about, they kind of phased out. They were more of like a trendy product at the time. And so later that night, I started to go down the rabbit hole of herbals, because I've always been in herbals. Went down the rabbit hole of like what herbs can increase your lung capacity, VO2, endurance, just overall output. And that's basically how I came up with our first product.
And then so obviously early beginnings. Mm-hmm. And were you a solopreneur at that point? Or did you have other resources that you were working with, or?
No. So really everything. I've started like t-shirt companies and things like that in the past, and nothing ever lasted. But getting into the supplement space, it was really just Google, YouTube, listening to podcasts, understanding how to start the manufacturing process, ordering things like that. And that is really what led me to Rob and Wendy. They got involved, and again, now we're scaling up pretty nicely right now.
Sure. And so Wendy, how did you meet Jeff, and kind of what wowed you to be a part of this journey?
Jeff's being modest because he's not telling you how he was a collegiate football player and then a CrossFit Games athlete.
Okay.
So, always known as like the strong guy, but needed capacity, which is what led him down that rabbit hole. But my husband was coaching him. So we've met through the years. My husband was coaching him, and when he came up with this first product called Flow, that helps you breathe better during intense exercise, we tried it. We gave it to people at our gym to try, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And so that's when we said, "All right, let's do this for real." And
so you were a customer first,
guinea pig.
More like a guinea pig. Yeah.
A non-paying customer.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually ordered all the individual ingredients and found the right ratios. I was mixing it in my house, and I would take it, work out, and as soon as I felt like my lungs were just wide open, I was able to push hard without, peaking where I had to pull back. A lot of athletes and endurance across this space, when they hit that red line, they have to pull back big time. And it's all about pacing, being consistent with that at a high heart rate. I found that, and then I ended up making, I think, 20, 30 bottles, gave that to Rob and Wendy. They handed them out. They, tried it or whatnot, and yeah.
So then, obviously, initial guinea pigs or testing different formulas out and so forth. So then, kind of what led to the sort of building the business then, saying that this is an opportunity for me to really do something different, maybe something that's not in the market today. What led you to build the business on top of that?
I think it was that mindset is I've never seen a herbal non-stem pre-workout. Everything's built like our society right now is coffee, caffeine, energy drinks, high stem pre-workouts. That's what, the fitness world is all about. And so I seen, there was this company, it's called Life Cycle. They're a 9-figure company, huge in the mushroom space. And I kept seeing a lot of advertising from them. And I was like, I think I have something. If we can get the formula right and then find the right, pitch on it, we can start with this product and scale it up. And in October, we end up launching and just constantly trying to prove it out. And now it's stable.
Yeah.
And building a startup's hard. Obviously, it's there's a lot of components to building a startup. Talent, resource, capital, and so forth. So tell us about the now where you are versus where you started. What were some of the early challenges to the business? So post now you've got some formulas, you got some ideas on what products. Talk about those early steps.
Well, I think, at the very beginning, it's, and to this date, we're self-funded. And it was finding manufacturers that would do just tiny batches, and testing things out and using his Instagram fans to get the word out, and then learning Facebook advertising and doing it all ourselves. And now, we're to the point where we can use those bigger manufacturers, get better pricing, have someone that handles that marketing for us, and then we can, focus on other parts of the business. So that's kind of the trajectory it took. And really it was, I think, a whole year we had just one product, and that put us on the map. And then having the capital to do the R&D and testing and really just hammer out some other products.
How much is this truly a sort of a grassroots effort, like, the guerrilla tactical approach to, going to customers, going to maybe fitness clubs or going out on the street?
A lot of trade shows.
Trade shows. So how much of that is there in sort of building the company, when you started it?
Yeah, the first, I would say, year and a half, that's what it was. Before we, finally got the online presence, it was going to CrossFit events, networking, really working on, gyms, working on our pitches. Like, what do people need to hear or what they need to feel, taking the product, explaining that, because it's non-stem, you're not going to really feel something, but you'll notice that you can maintain higher heart rates at high paces without falling apart. And that's what an athlete wants. Their breathing rate goes up, blood pressure. We want to calm that down with our product. So really just listening to them once they, came back after an event or whatnot, and just molding that until, now what we have, for our marketing.
And then, we talked about earlier about, some of the challenges of, putting a startup together and so forth. Now, you two are not in a traditional hub for startups and having, accelerators at your fingertips, universities, access to potential capital, angel groups. So now where are you based out of?
I'm in Melbourne, and Wendy and Rob are in
Vero
Vero
Beach.
Beach.
Okay, so probably the closest sort of central market might be Orlando, potentially, right?
Yep.
So there is some activity in Orlando. So tell me, does that make it even harder then as a startup that you don't have the sort of the physical presence, or is it with being virtual today, are you able to reach out for capital, for mentorship, advice? So
I think until I saw this place, I didn't think we were missing anything.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about the innovation
Yeah,
center.
the innovation center.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
wow.
I've never seen anything like this.
I think with the venture mentoring team, becoming a part of that in the last year has been huge to bounce ideas off them. And then I know Jeff just constantly consumes podcasts, YouTube videos. So do I. Reach out to people. No, I think, with technology and we keep each other motivated too. We're both kind of the same personality, and we're just always thinking about the business, even though we have other things going on. We're probably texting or calling each other dozens of times a day, So I think if it wasn't for him, it may feel like you're on an island, but yeah, no. It's a good synergy between the two of us. So I think, that really helps.
So you went from one product to 4 products. So yeah, sort of describe the products, if you will. So give us what are the basis of the products themselves?
Yeah, so we started with the Flow product. That's our non-stim herbal pre-workout. That's been our flagship. I want to say we had that for a year and a half
Before we had a second.
Yeah, and then we came out with, was it Gut Immune?
Gut and Immune, which was a huge
terrible
mistake.
product. Yeah.
This is where we learned
Trial
that
by error.
Yeah, well, we didn't survey our customers and say, what would you like? So we came out, we're like, all right, gut health is hot, immunity's hot, we're during COVID. But what we didn't realize is that our target market, these intense exercisers, they really take care of themselves. So gut issue and, and immunity kind of got that on lockdown. So it's not the type of, customer that logs on to Amazon and goes, all right, my gut's messed up, or like, it's cold season. So we definitely, missed the mark on that and had to take a loss on those, but valuable lesson.
No. And then REM was a part of that 3-product launch. REM it's a herbal, doesn't have melatonin. It's a sleep product. So those 3 we launched, like she said, we removed the Gut and Immune. REM was a solid product for us. After that, we came out with Focus, which is it's an herbal nootropic, low stim. So it's 100 milligrams of green coffee bean caffeine, and then lion's mane, Bacopa monnieri. So it's like short-term, long-term brain health. And our most recent product is the creatine hydrate.
Okay, and that's for bodybuilding.
So ours is a twist. So you know how Gatorade is performance hydration, what they call it, or a lot of athletes use BCAAs. So creatine is the most proven product across the board. So what we did was take it, the 5-gram standard, proven across the board, add flavor to it, natural flavoring, but we put electrolytes and coconut water powder. So it's a performance hydration, like a true performance hydration. And that's been great for us. We came out with 3 flavors on that.
And I think up until the last maybe 5 years, people did think of creatine for bodybuilders, but it's the most widely researched supplement and effective. And now there's a lot of data about brain health and cognition. Yep. So I mean, I know of doctors putting elderly on it. So there's so many, because you retain your muscle as you age, that sort of thing. So really, creatine's having a moment. So are electrolytes, and our timing was really good on that one.
Yeah.
So the supplement industry is, very, very, I wouldn't say saturated, but there's a lot of, there's a significant amount of players in the space. And it seems like, even today, that every once in a while you'll see some type of supplement company that will take the market by storm. And they might be a couple of years in the space, but wow, they've captured, for some reason they've sort of captured the attention. And so obviously that's of great interest to you, right? So then how do you break through in the market? And it's part of the challenge, but as a new supplement company, what are your thoughts about how do we penetrate and really break through competitively?
I think when you do see a supplement company come on the scene really quickly, usually it's backed by some sort of, famous YouTuber or someone like The Rock. We aren't necessarily going after that market that gets excited about the celebrity of it. We are, there's a lot of supplements that are full of junk, to be honest with you. And so we are going after that market, which isn't as large, but that people that really do their research, care about what they put in their body, read the labels, that sort of thing, because there's a lot of herbal products, but that's more of maybe the yoga and the hippie type customer.
So then keeping that in mind, then who's your buyer then? Who is your target customer?
Okay, so they tend to be 35 to 45 is our key demographic. We're skewing a little more male than female, but that's starting to change a bit. But they're people that do CrossFit, do marathons, do MMA, kind of weekend warrior type things. So yeah, that's our target market. So intense exercise.
Yep.
And you mentioned about athletes themselves. So, and are those like yourself? You know, you obviously, when you were an athlete, you were thinking about there's got to be something better,
Yep,
right? So, what are you hearing from fellow athletes? You know, how is it working for them?
I would say the biggest thing we hear, and we're partnered up with a fight club that has a lot of like UFC, Bellator. Their main thing is, does it work, and is it 100% banned substance free? So we, took Flow and the creatine hydrated a step further by getting the informed sport certification. Like Wendy said, we constantly obsess about the best ingredients, getting them right at the right potency to make sure it's clinically proven, that type of thing. But so far, I mean, from where we are now to where we started, we've come a long way on scale wise. But it's listening to the customer. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is constantly trying to tweak and make it better for them, because they're going to go out and tell others about it.
Sure, and that we talked earlier about sort of that grassroots then. Yep. So it's a lot of it seems to be word of mouth through success. Yep. You have to try this and so forth. Part of that is obviously today being advantageous to take care of with social media. You mentioned about Instagram and so forth. Are you finding that that's been a significant channel for the business is through social media?
Yep.
Yeah, we the person we hired, he was great in affiliate marketing, and he was referred to us by another company we're interviewing and looking at bringing on board to help us out. But we had, because of all the testing, the grassroots, we got the verbiage down, what people needed to hear and what they needed to see. So he basically took that and it's like put it on steroids. And the type of growth we've had over the last few months has been insane.
So the business is on fire right now, it seems like. So where are you in the stage of the business? Are you doing a raise, a capital raise? Are you going to continue to bootstrap? Are you looking, are you getting outside investors, friends and family? Where are you right now with the status of the business from a capital raise standpoint, funding?
Okay. Well, right now we're still bootstrapping, so we're going to be 3 years old soon, and then that kind of opens us up a little bit more in terms of loans and lines of credit and things like that. We'll have to decide what we want to do. I mean, I think we're definitely both open to raising capital, but we want to build the business up a little bit more on our own. There's some other supplement companies that we've tracked. And I think one's grown to about $30 million a year doing it on his own. And then he finally raised capital. So we kind of look at him as a good model. We don't want to give away too much equity for too little while we're still small.
It's always part of that balance.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 2024, when we can show our 2023 tax returns and we have more access to loans and lines of credit and that sort of thing, we can really introduce more products, keep bootstrapping it, and then go from there.
Yeah, and then stage-wise, we're in that inventory management and cash flow, trying to time everything up so we don't run out of product. We actually just got 10,000 bottles of Flow and Flow Pro in, a month ago?
Yeah, a month ago.
Is that your most popular product right now?
Yeah, that's I would say, 90% of our business right now. It's a hot product right now.
Yeah, it's the product that we people try first because it's so different. And then we earn their trust, and then they're like, all right, let me try their sleep supplement, let me try their creatine, that sort of thing. So
is it obviously you always want to maintain the existing clientele that you have, so you have reorders, and then new customer acquisition. So that's difficult for a startup to kind of balance those two, to keep the existing customers happy, making sure they're reordering, and then gaining new business. How are you two balancing that?
Well, one is we try to personalize the process as much as possible, whether it be, with direct emails, putting stuff inside the packages, having really good customer service. And then our big push moving forward that Jeff and I are always talking about is, how do we build community? Harley Davidson has these raving fans and they're not pushing the motorcycles, but so how do we do that? So we have a private Facebook group called Cerus VIP that people are always joining. We create, I create every week a mindset email and video that goes out to that group. My husband Rob, our third partner, and Jeff do training type videos that also go out on email, and those email flows that just help build value with our customers, and they're not selling them something, end up actually making more sales than a lot of the other things we're trying. So it's just building that tribe, creating super fans, trying to answering the direct messages, and really trying to have a personal touch to our people.
So with your 4 lines now, so what's the next step? Are you looking at building more product, or being sort of taking these 4 lines and going staying narrow and go deeper? So what is sort of the approach here in future days?
Yeah, so we do have another product that we're working on right now. It's a collagen protein colostrum hybrid. It's never been done. It's the only product that'll be like this on the market, and traditionally, collagen has been marketed to mainly women. It's a huge market, but it's a lot of pinks, purples, super hair, nails, and skin. So we want to brand this as the competitive woman. Like, they do CrossFit, marathons, triathlons, any type of sport that competes a lot or just, likes to get after it. We're going to brand that like we're the collagen for athletes. So we have that. And then the other 4, we want to optimize those formulas. So make them more potent if they're the liquids, find the right ratios of herbals. Like with the Flow product, we have 3 or 4 other variations of it that we're constantly testing out to make sure if a brand new person takes the product for the first time, if we can get them to a point where they can feel something faster, but keeping it natural without any synthetic stimulants or anything like that. If they can feel it, that'll put them in a spot to increase that reorder, that lifetime value, and that's what we want to keep optimizing those products.
You're doing a lot in the way of direct to consumer right now, and obviously the social media is a huge channel for you. Is Nirvana building out additional channels, for example, retail? Is Nirvana getting out to Whole Foods, or where would your ultimate channels be if you're looking at those?
I actually think a big opportunity is government contracts, specifically military. Like we've had some Navy SEALs take our product and love it. And it's just getting to the right people and navigating through the whole government contract process, which is overwhelming. But I think, those could be very advantageous for both parties. Yeah, possibly, like the GNCs or the vitamin shops of the world. Once, we have the volume that it makes sense to give them, the discounts that they desire. What do you have to add to that?
Yeah, same. And right now we're in maybe 30 CrossFit gyms. Rob and Wendy, their gym does the best for us. And it helps that they understand the products, they can educate better. A lot of gyms aren't set up that way, but we're trying to build out almost like a affiliate pack. So they have email flows, things like that they can put out and educate, and then that'll push their clients right to our products. So stand out a little different.
Yeah, Nirvana is to build it and then sell it and retire.
Right. Yeah.
So we like to, on the podcast, we like to pass off a few nuggets of wisdom, especially for others that, startups, not necessarily in the same space, but what kind of advice would you give to other startups as you've bootstrapped the business now, got some nice traction going? What kind of nuggets could you pass along to other startups, peers in the...
Yeah. So I would say 2 things. You have to be very patient. That for me, in my past, I made a lot of mistakes, and patience was the biggest thing. Just sit back, absorb as much as you can. Like I obsess about, like when you say books, podcasts, understanding business. I just started my MBA program. Make sure I have a solid foundation of business, not just like the street smarts, but being patient and then obsess. Like those 2 things have helped us so much. Wendy's the same way as me, is we want to constantly get better.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd say if you're in the manufacturing world, have a backup.
Oh,
we
oh my
we
goodness.
we went through some nightmares with manufacturers, and ended up things took months and months and months, and we ran out of product, and sales went to a halt. And they're all learning experiences, but yeah, have a backup plan. That'd be my experience.
AV resources
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you need to turn to for,
Yeah.
obviously in this case, manufacturing.
Yeah.
So
Yep, yep.
And know that the digital marketing is going to be expensive. So
unless in some ways you've been very successful in
Yeah.
in doing it on your own,
Right.
as you indicated. So kind of a combination, perhaps.
yeah, and we talked to so many other startups that they've all had bad experiences with agencies saying we can, we'll have a 6 ROAS for you, and and then they lose money. So we've been very fortunate to find a great marketing guy. But yeah, I would say, I don't know, look for red flags with marketing agencies.
Right.
That would be one.
Those are good points
Yeah.
to share. So, well, congratulations on the amazing
Thank you.
success
Thank you.
so far. And you mentioned about the CrossFit gyms and where you're located. So how does somebody order from you today?
Yeah. So CerusPerformance.com, mainly on e-commerce. We have a few gyms. If you have a local gym that's interested and have the owner reach out, we'll get them set up with some samples, and then, get them on the wholesale program.
Yep. So yeah, CerusPerformance.com. That's CERUS Performance.com. That's where you get us.
Terrific. Jeff Evans, Wendy Shafranski, Cerus Performance, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Remember to subscribe, like, and share the Sunshine Startups Live podcast, and follow us on social media. If you're interested in sponsoring or appearing on the show, please email us at booking@sunshinestartups.live.